कैसे हो आप लोग दोस्तों? होप आप सब लोग बहुत अच्छे हो। सो एज प्रोमिस्ड वी आर बैक विद अनदर पोएम ऑफ लिटरेचर जिसका नाम है द रोड साइड स्टैंड। एंड ये पोएम दोस्तों रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट ने लिखी है, विच हु इज़ वन ऑफ द वेरी रिनाउंड अमेरिकन पोएट्स, जो कि अमेरिका के बहुत ही रिनाउंड पोएट हैं, उन्होंने लिखी है। सो असेंशली दोस्तों ये पोएम, बिफोर आई मूव अहेड, मैं आपको एक थोड़ा सा प्री ब्रेकडाउन देना चाहूँगा कि ये पोएम इज़ अराउंड जैसे जो रोड साइड दुकानें नहीं लगा लेते लोग बहुत सारे। सो इट्स अराउंड कि कैसे उन्होंने एक दुकान, कैसे कोई एक रोड साइड दुकान लगी हुई है और कैसे जो रिच है वो वहाँ से निकल रहे हैं, कैसे व्हाट दे थिंक अराउंड अबाउट दैट रोड साइड स्टैंड। दे ऑल्सो हाउ द रोड साइड स्टैंड में जो काम कर रहे हैं वो कैसे इमेजिन करते हैं कि लोग रुकें और हमसे कुछ खरीदें, हमसे कुछ पैसे दें, सो उनकी बेसिकली सफरिंग के बारे में है। एंड द पोएट इज डीपली इन डीप सोरो इन दिस पोएम, कि वो बहुत ही सोरो में है जब वो उस पोएम में और इन रोड साइड स्टैंड्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। एंड essentially at the end he's like कि शायद death is the ultimate is an ultimate thing that would make them come out of the suffering, but then he instantly says that this is an insane thought and he should not think like that, right? So it's a poem that's written in deep sorrow, wherein the poet is very is in very pain. He's in pain when he talks about these roadside stands and the sufferings of the people who are residing in there. So let's look at it. सबसे पहले अबाउट दी ऑथर. सो रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट, एज आई सेड, इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट celebrated authors of America, and although he was born in San Francisco, his work and identity are inseparable from New England, where he spent most of his life as a teacher and a farmer. So essentially पहले वो न्यू इंग्लैंड में रहते थे और उन्होंने पोइट्री लिखना वहीं से शुरू किया. सो बिफोर ही बिकेम फेमस इन अमेरिका, जो उनके इनिशियल वर्क्स थे वो इंग्लैंड में ही पॉपुलर रहे. एंड फ्रॉम देयर when he moved to America back, once he came back to America, तब उनके वर्क्स कैसे अमेरिका में फेमस हुए and he became one of the great poets there. So the 4 Pulitzer record, Frost is the only poet to have won 4 Pulitzer prizes for poetry in 1924, 31, 37 and 1943. He was the first poet ever invited at the US presidential inauguration. And interestingly, first 2 books, A Boy's Will and North of Boston, were first published in England before he became famous in America. So just a brief around the poet and उनकी background के बारे में. So समरी मैं आपको वैसे ये चीज़ बता चुका हूँ, फिर भी मैं इसको थोड़ा सा पढ़ के आपको बताना चाहूँगा. रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट हाईलाइट्स द इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रगल ऑफ द रूरल पीपल एंड द कोल्ड इंडिफरेंस ऑफ द अर्बन एलीट. The farmer sets up a humble stand not for charity but to earn city money to improve their lives. However, the polished traffic either ignores them or complains that the stand ruins the landscape. So शुरुआत की, मैंने इस पूरी पोएम को 7 स्टैंजाज में बांटा है, जिसमें पहले 2-3 स्टैंजाज असेंशली ये बता रहे हैं कि कैसे जो लोग वहाँ से निकल रहे थे. सो ही हैज़ इमेजिन दैट स्टैंड टू बी नियर अ माउंटेन एंड नियर अ परफेक्ट सीनरी, जहाँ पे बहुत सारी माउंटेन्स हैं, जहाँ पे बहुत सारी लैंडस्केप्स हैं. तो उसके अराउंड ही उन्होंने उस स्टैंड को इमेजिन किया है इस पोएम में. और उन्होंने ये देखा है, उन्होंने ये बोला है कि कैसे सिटी के जो लोग हैं, कैसे दे फील दैट इट इज़ एक्चुअली ruining the artistic mountains that are there, right? वो सीनरी को डिस्टर्ब कर रही हैं ये सारी चीज़ें. और कैसे वो देखते हैं कि they look at these people with regret, they look at these people in shame. So ये सारी चीज़ उन्होंने पहले 2-3 स्टैंजा में बताने की कोशिश करी है. Then he exposes the hypocrisy of greedy good doers who relocate the poor under the guise of progress while exploiting them. Ultimately, the poet expresses deep sorrow for the farmer's childish longing as they wait in vain for the sequel of breaks, right? Then उसके बाद उन्होंने बताया है कि कैसे कुछ greedy लोग हैं सिटी में जो उनको री-एस्टैब्लिश करने की बात करते हैं, बट वो रीएस्टैब्लिश करने में जो इन सिटी ड्वेलर्स हैं, सॉरी जो इन स्लगिश ड्वेलर्स हैं, इनका फ़ायदा ना करके खुद का ही फ़ायदा करते हैं. दैट्स व्हाट द ऑथर सेज. एंड ऑल्सो ही एक्सप्लेन्स कि कैसे when these roadside stands actually wait for people to stop their car and ask for the things that they are selling. Instead they ask for all these things which are just not relevant. Like they would ask for directions, they would ask for other gasoline, they would ask for these things which are not relevant to them. So ये सारी चीज़ उन्होंने बताने की कोशिश करी है. और at the end you can feel the deep sorrow that the poet is in. वो बहुत ही डीप सॉरो में कोई एक दो बात कहते हैं, एंड देन ही ऑटोमेटिकली सेज दैट जो उन्होंने कहा वो ठीक नहीं है, एंड ही शुड नॉट हैव सेड दैट. सो लेट्स लुक एट इट स्टैंजा बाय स्टैंजा. The little old house was out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled. It would not be fair to say for a dole of bread, but for some of the money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. यहाँ पे ऑथर बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है कि कैसे जो ये रोड साइड स्टैंड्स है, दे आर नॉट बेगर्स, राइट? दे आर जस्ट पुटिंग अप देयर स्टैंड देयर फॉर अ डोल ऑफ ब्रेड. थोड़ी सी कमाई के लिए वो वहाँ पे खड़े हुए हैं. और कैसे उन्होंने ये भी बताने की कोशिश की कि बट फॉर सम ऑफ द मनी द कैश हुज फ्लो सपोज द फ्लावर ऑफ सिटीज फ्रॉम सिंकिंग. सिटी के कुछ पैसे, थोड़े से कुछ पैसे के लिए वो वहाँ खड़े हुए हैं, जहाँ पे वो दे वुड सेल सर्टेन थिंग्स दैट दे हैव एंड दे वुड डिमांड सम money out of it, and that's why they are not beggars essentially. Pathetically pled, this stand looks humble and desperate as it is begging for attention, not for a dole of bread. Frost clarifies that these peoples are not beggars looking for charity, they are proud people. Flowers of cities, a metaphor for the luxury and the brightness of urban life. The poet argues that just as money keeps cities thriving, a little bit of that same cash could save the rural people from withering, right? So flower of cities मतलब कुछ थोड़ा बहुत amount that these people can earn by selling certain things, and that would not wither up the city, but that would support these farmers. That's what he's saying. Let's look at the next stanza. The indifference of the rich. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, at having the landscape mad with the artless paint of signs that with N turned wrong and S turned wrong. Again, इस stanza में essentially author or the poet is saying that the polished traffic, जो city के polished लोग हैं, they feel how the landscape, जो mountains का landscape है, वो ख़राब हो रहा है इन लोगों के वहाँ होने से, because उन्होंने north sign गलत लगाया हुआ है, south sign गलत लगाया हुआ है, और बहुत ही shabby सा उनका whole structure है जो उन्होंने वहाँ खड़ा किया हुआ है. So how they feel that the whole landscape is, how the beauty is being lost because of them being there, and how the city people are kind of looking at them with a very rubbish sort of an outlook. This prefers to the wealthy people in their shiny expensive car. Mind ahead, they are so focused on their own goals and destinations that they don't even see the people on the side of the road, right? The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. So mind ahead means focused on their goals and destinations that don't even see the people on the side of the road. Landscape marred, when they do look, they don't see the poverty, they only see the ugly stand that ruin the view. They see the ugly stand that ruin the view, landscape marred. So that's what it states. Okay, and N and S turned wrong. The farmer is likely uneducated and his handmade signs have backward letters. The city folk mocks this rather than feeling sympathy of the lack of opportunity, right? So the जो north और south की directions के signs जो हैं वो गलत लगाए हुए हैं, and the city actually flocks that. The city actually makes fun of it rather than understanding that they are poor people, right? So like this. Let's look at the next stanza. The hypocrisy of help. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be brought out and mercifully gathered to live in villages, next to the theatre and the store, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore, while greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey, swarm over their life enforcing benefits. Again this is the hypocrisy of help के बारे में है कि कैसे कुछ लोग, कुछ मतलब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लोग या कुछ लोग हैं, who are marred with the fact कि इन लोगों को कुछ ऐसी जगह शिफ्ट कर देना चाहिए which is near the which is next to the theater and the store, और जहाँ पे they won't have to think for themselves, but essentially उनका ये कहना है कि those people are actually looking for their own benefits rather than the benefits of these people whom they want to transfer. Pitiful kin, the poor villagers. So pitiful kin का मतलब होता है poor villagers. Bought out, gathered in. This refers to the government resettlement plans. It sounds good on paper, but it's actually about clearing them out of development. So actually, it's about making them out of development, out of the city places, and making them stay at a place which is very far away from the city. Won't have to think. This is sarcastic. Won't have to think for themselves. जैसे कह रहे हैं, where they won't have to think for themselves. By moving them to convenient villages, the elite were stripping the poor of their independence and making them dependent on the system. Right? Beneficial beast of prey, a powerful oxymoron. These helpers are actually predators who would profit from the relocation of the poor. Beneficial beasts of prey, जैसे इन्होंने बोला है. These guys who are actually looking at benefiting out of the relocation of these poor, and who would make most amount of money than these people who are actually being relocated. So like this. Let's move to the next stanza. The heartbreak of waiting. Sometimes I feel myself I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain. The sadness that lurks near the open window there, that waits all day in almost open prayer for the sequel of brakes, the sound of stopping cars. So essentially ये कह रहे हैं कि कैसे एक चाइल्डिश लॉन्गिंग है लोगों के जो वहाँ पे रोड साइड स्टैंड में बैठे हुए हैं, कि कैसे कि ब्रेक्स लगे, लोग रुके और उनसे कोई चीज़ें खरीदे. तो सारा दिन वो इस चीज़ का इंतजार करते हैं कि वहाँ पे कोई गाड़ी रुकेगी, कोई चीज़ उनसे वो मांगेंगे, एंड दे लॉन्ग फॉर दीज काइंड ऑफ स्टॉप्स ऑल डे लॉन्ग. राइट? So sometimes, so childish longing, the farmer waits with a hopeful, innocent heart like a child for someone to stop. For someone to stop. This is childish longing in vain. The hope is useless because no one stops. Lurks near the open window, frost personifies sadness. It's not just an emotion, it's a physical presence sitting in the stand with the farmer. Sequel of brakes, the farmers only wishes to hear a car eventually stop. Right? So essentially इसी चीज़ के बारे में कह रहा है कैसे they long for people to stop and buy something from them. Let's look at the stanza 5, the selfishness of the stops. Of all the 1,000 selfish cars that pause, just one to inquire what a farmer prices are, and one did stop, but only to plow up grass in using the yard to back and turn around, and another to ask the way to where it was bound, and another asked could they sell a gallon of gas. So there are three things that he says here, that these three type of stops. Frost highlights three types of stops that people make at these roadside stands. First stop he says that just to use the farmer's driveway to turn around ruining his grass. उनके जो ड्राइववे हैं उसके आगे से वो घूमना चाहते हैं, जो उनकी ग्रास उन्होंने आगे बिछाई हुई है वो ख़राब हो जाती है उससे. नेक्स्ट स्टॉप आते हैं पीपल जो आस्क फॉर डायरेक्शंस, थ्रेटनिंग द फार्मर फॉर अ फ्री मैप, मतलब दे आस्क फॉर डायरेक्शंस कि ये रोड कहाँ जा रही है and everything like that. Next, the second stop of people, and third stop is ask for a gallon of gas. कुछ लोग आते हैं जो गैस मांगते हैं और मतलब essentially they should know that these roadside stands does not have any sort of gas or gasoline along with them, but then also they would ask, right? So like that. These infuriates the farmer because it shows how out of touch the city people are. They can't see that a humble wooden stand clearly does not sell gasoline. सो तीन टाइप के स्टॉप्स हैं. एक तो उनसे उनकी ड्राइव पे घूमते हैं और उनकी घास को ख़राब करते हैं. दूसरे उनसे डायरेक्शंस पूछते हैं और तीसरा उनसे आके गैसोलीन पूछते हैं, विच इज़ अगेन विच प्रूव्स दैट हाउ दीज पीपल एक्चुअली does not know that the roadside stand does not sells gasoline, right? So like this. So three types of stops. Okay, let's look at the sixth stanza. No, in country money, the country scale of gain, the requisite lift of spirit has never been found, or so the voice of the country seems to complain. Country scale of gain, the small amount of money earned in the village is barely enough for food. It is never enough to provide lift of spirit. The voice of the country, Frost personifies the entire rural landscape as a collective voice that is constantly complaining about being left behind by the industrial world, right? So again, it says that the country scale of the requisite lift of spirit has never been found. So the small amount of money earned in the village is barely enough for these people. It is never enough to provide them a lift of spirit. So essentially वो ये कह रहे हैं कि कैसे वो एक साइकिल ऑफ पॉवर्टी में बंधे हुए हैं, कैसे ही सेज दैट जो अर्निंग्स वो एक विलेज में कमाते हैं विच इज़ जस्ट नॉट इनफ फॉर देम टू सर्वाइव एंड हाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दैट that less amount of money they travel to these cities and create these roadside stands. So that's what he says around in this stanza. Let's look at the last stanza. The poet's despair and the reality check. I can't help owning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. And then the next day as I come back to the scene, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. So, he says that at one stroke, in a moment of extreme emotional distress, he says that might be the only way out for people like them to come out of their sufferings, right? So he says that in a moment of extreme emotional distress, the poet suggests that might be better for these people than a lifetime of ignored suffering and false promises. That's what he says. The next day, the poet realizes that this thought was insane or driven by over emotion. वो कहते हैं कि जो मैंने बोला ये आई थिंक ओवर इमोशन है एंड आई शुड नॉट हैव सेड दैट एंड द फाइनल प्ली ही रियलाइज दैट द ओनली वे हिज पेन विल एंड इज समवन हेल्प द रूरल पुअर. He turns the question on the reader, would you be willing to help ease the pain, right? Then he says that इसका solution यही है कि जो रूरल पुअर हैं उनकी सफरिंग को कोई एड्रेस करे और कोई उस चीज़ पे काम करे. And then he asks the reader, would you be coming to help them and make them come out of the pain? Then he puts a question on the reader. And this is the last line by which he ends the poem. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this poem, friends. So let's look at some of the key questions from the chapter. First we look at the short questions and then we look at a couple of long questions as well. So question number 1, what is the childish longing that the poet refers to and why is it in vain? So जैसे कि हमने पढ़ा था, childish longing is for the roadside stand people is that someone can stop the car and buy something from them, so they long for people to stop their cars near their stands, right? Because thousands of cars pass by but none stop to help this economy, right? Why does the poet uses the phrase polished traffic? He refers polish to the shiny expensive cars and the wealthy city people. He talks about that in this phrase polished traffic. It also suggests they are polished, refined but cold manners that ignore the rural people. So polished also एक sarcastic way में भी उन्होंने बोला है कि it refers to people who are polished but are very cold to the poor, right? What was the farmer's reaction to the person asking for a gallon of gas? Obviously हमने पढ़ा था कि the farmers gets frustrated by this, that that city people don't even know that they are not selling gasoline, and then also these people would come and ask if they have some gasoline, so it frustrates them and it actually makes them angry, right? What are the beneficial beasts of prey? Why does the Frost call them so? Again, beneficial beasts of prey उन्होंने politicians और उन लोगों के बारे में कहा था जो उनको resettlement कराते हैं and they earn a lot of money. So he refers to them as beneficial beast of prey, who actually earn money out of the resettlement that is being offered to these people. So these are some of the short answer questions. Let's look at a couple of 5-mark questions as well. The conflict between the rural and the urban life. So again, he very beautifully kind of addresses this, that contrast the two lives, and he uses a lot of phrases to describe it as well, like the polished life, the city people, and he uses a lot of phrases like that to highlight the vast gap between the city dwellers and these roadside stand people. He understands that, and he is represented by things like cash, flowers of cities, polished traffic, symbolizing wealth and progress. In contrast, the countrysides are represented by artless stand, pitiful kin. And he used words like that to kind of tell their sorrows and tell the state of these people. So the tragedy is that the city's progress is built on the neglect of the rural people who only wants a fair share in the city money to improve their lives, right? So इसको ही हम substantiate कर सकते हैं इन आंसर्स में. जो ये चार पांच phrases उन्होंने city dwellers और roadside stand वाले लोगों के बारे में बोला है, उन phrases को ही हम substantiate कर सकते हैं और कह सकते हैं कि कैसे एक vast contrast जो है इन दो लोगों के बारे में ऑथर ने बताया है. the poet's personal engagement with the subject. You know, normally जो बहुत सारे poets लिखते हैं वो essentially detached होके लिखते हैं, but इस केस में Robert seems to be very attached with the subject. You know, he becomes deeply emotional as well. He uses personification like the sadness that lurks to show his empathy towards these people. By the end of the poem, his frustration is so great that he considers mercy killing as a solution to them, only to realize that the real solution for the Polish society is to take responsibility and offer help. So that's what he says, that essentially he was so frustrated that he goes on to say that इनको mercy killing दे देनी चाहिए, but then he realizes that this is not the right thing, and he asks the readers to come in front and help these people, right? So इसी तरीके से हम इस आंसर को फ्रेम कर सकते हैं. So hope you've enjoyed it. Hope do share your comments in the comment box. We'll come up with the next chapters. Stay tuned for more.